So to continue my slider series, in the last video we created this thumb slider, and in this video we will be creating the curved swiper slider, which if you go down, it's this one. You could see it looks properly like this. It's fully responsive too, and this is the one that we are going to make. And again, if you check my series for the slider, you would see that we actually made a lot more previously, all these slides that we have made. And the best part is I'm giving this as a free template that you could just download for free from my website. You could support me by using my Elementor affiliate links or getting the Hostinger from my link. I've been using Hostinger for 3 years and it's like really good, very affordable too. Or you could buy my templates to support me too. Now I will be linking this page in the description, which would have the code that I'm going to use. You do not need to know coding, but I'll explain the code a bit so that you could customize it yourself too. One important limitation about this design is, if I go down, that it needs to be from left end to the right end. Okay, so you cannot make it, box width, like you cannot make it be cut like this much only. It has to be from left to right end. And the way I found this is by checking a code. If I can find, I don't know if I linked around here. Okay, there. I actually found this in this code pen where he had made this swiper slide, and basically I customized it to work with Elementor. So if you want to check it, I've actually linked it in the description or in this page, basically, not in the description, in this page, where you could go and check this code pen too if you want to learn more. But I'll explain how to do it in this video. Now, another thing, I've already created this swiper slider so many times that I'm going to be a bit faster. And if you watch the first video, which is this one, custom base slider with autoplay, like this one, you could see it's like a 1 hour video. It goes in much more detail and it explains in much more detail. And the reason why I'm not making each video like this big is because I don't want to explain the same stuff again and again. So after you have watched this video, you want to, let's say if you want to learn a bit more, then you could watch the first video, or if not, you could basically just do this video, okay, or do this like check this video and basically make it. So the first thing is, in this container, I'm just going to just create like a basic container, and we will start by making the same layout that I've been making for like the past like how many videos, I don't know. But in here, I'll just create another container. It's going to be full width and it's going to be I'll call it like arc swiper. Okay, you could name it anything, doesn't matter. I'll make it be in center like this so that our arc swiper is right here. Inside this, I'll add my swiper wrapper. This one would basically be our wrapper, which would contain all the slides. So we need to go in here and add our slides. These are all like full width. Okay, from here, everything needs to be full width. This is going to be a slide. You could name it like 1, 2, 3 or whatever. Now between our arc slide and swiper wrapper, you could see there's some gap. We don't want that, so let's remove this. Between our swiper wrapper and then slide one, we have gap. We don't want that. And let's say if I give my slide one some color, I don't know, just random color. If I duplicate this, you would see there's some gap in here. We don't want that. This one should be controlled by our code. So let's do and make it 0. Make the swiper wrapper be left to right because it should be left to right, and make sure no wrap is enabled like this. Like select the no wrap for all 3 devices. Okay. Now the next stuff is to add the pagination. You could add the pagination in this arc swiper, or you could create another container. Okay. So you could go and add, icon in here, or add anything. Okay, it doesn't have to be an icon. You could add anything that would be controlling the left and right. I'm just going to use the left arrow. You could add text or anything. Okay, and you could see I've added it inside of this. Now it's up to you whether you want to add it inside of this or not. I personally prefer it outside, but it really comes down to like what your design is. So I'm just going to keep it outside instead of keeping it inside of this. And let's duplicate it. Let's do right arrow. And after this, we will add our pagination container like this. Once everything is done, we will make sure our swiper wrapper has some height. So maybe let's do 300. And now we will start adding our we will add our CSS classes, which is in the DM curve swiper, which is the first one here. Do not copy the dot. I don't know why I've kept the dot in each one of them, but just don't copy the dot. DM curve swiper and give it to our arc swiper like this. Then we need few more classes, which is wrapper class, slide class, next element, previous element, pagination, and all. So where can we find it? Well, in the code around here. So if you search for wrapper class, you can find here DM curve swiper wrapper. Let's copy this and give it to our wrapper. DM curve swiper slide. Let's give it to our slide. Now we have to give all of them, so I'm just going to delete the next ones and duplicate it so that each one of them have this swiper slide code or CSS class, I mean. Then in the next element, I will actually copy this one, DM curve swiper next. We do not copy the dot and we give it the next arrow. Then we copy the DM curve swiper previous without the dot, and then we give it to our previous one. And then DM curve swiper pagination, we give it to our pagination container. Once everything is done, at the end I'll basically add an HTML widget and copy this code in here, okay? And suddenly you could see something happen, but it would not look good. So let's just do preview and see how it looks for now. So we got this to work, but I know for a fact that it would not work properly. It is looking okay right now, but you could see it is not I guess what you call like aligned perfectly. Let me try this. Is it proper, or I'm not sure? It looks okay to me right now, but I think it's just come down to how about I add like more slides. Well, it seems that it is working properly even when doing a box width. I know I said that it should not be like this, because last time I tried it was not working properly, but it is looking good even if I do, let's say, slashed right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my container and basically make it full width so that it's from left to right, and basically do 0. I can give like, this one is like personal choice, but left and right should be 0 like this. Let's do preview. And let's do next like this. It is working properly to me there. Yep, it is working properly. I don't know, last time I tested it was not doing well when it was like a boxed, but right now it is looking good. One thing, the pagination is just not being visible. Well, it is there, it's just around here. You can see. So if I set it to be in center like this, it would be visible. So you can see, but now I want it to go left to right. I don't want it to be up to down, so I'll do left to right. I'll do is I'm going to put all three of them in its own container so that I can place it in like a line. So I'll create another container and basically just place it below our arc swiper, not inside but below, and then add all my elements inside of this like this. You could see. So this is container which has all of this stuff, and do left to right, do center, and we basically got this layout. We got it to look like this. You can see now it works properly. Now let me explain the code and how to customize it to your own liking. Obviously I'm not going to show how to customize this, inside layout and design and all. Basically it's just basic Elementor where you just add your stuff inside. I'm not going to go in that detail. I'll only explain how to customize the slider basically. So in the code, I've set the direction to be horizontal, but loop is set to false. But if you set it to true, it will basically loop, and there would also be like left and right slides if you do it that way. And again, I'm showing in a quicker way instead of doing it true and going back here and showing that it works, because in the first video I've done that. It takes a bit time to show that. So check the first video, and in that one I also show a lot more customization than what's available in the code here. So if you watch that video, you would be able to customize it even more. Now grab cursor is set to true. Basically if I hover it, you can see my cursor changes to this hand icon. Yours would look okay. it's looking weird because of this cursor that I'm using. And if you watch the first video, the 1 hour one, you would know that what auto does is that it checks the width of it and automatically tries to fit however many slides it can fit in the screen. So right now it can only fit 3 of them, or actually if I go here, it can fit like 1, 2, 3 and maybe half of both of them. So it tries to fit that much, but if you had a smaller screen, it would only do, let's say, 3. You can see it actually depends on the size of the screen, and that is what's done by auto. And then we have set the center slides to be true, so the active slide would be in center instead of the first one. This is a space. Basically, for mobile, the space between each slide should be 50. For tablet, it should be 80, and for desktop, it should be 100. So right now there's 100 space between each one of them. This is the same code that I found on the code pen. I also don't understand the math, but it works. If you go down in here, you would find the DM swiper slide width to be set to be 400. Now you can see that this width, each one of them is 400 pixels, because in here I've set the width to be 400 pixels and also opacity to be 0.8. Now let's say if I go in here and turn this into, instead of 400 pixel, I set it to 33%. Let's do preview. You can see that each slide is now 33% size. And no matter what screen size I use, it will always be 33% size, because we are using percentage. So that's the difference between pixels and percentage. Percentage would have equal amount of slides no matter the screen size, but if you use pixels with slides per view auto, it will be if 3 slides fit, it will do 3 slides. If 5 slides fit, it will do 5 slides. Then opacity is set to 0.8. Basically anything that is inactive is a slightly transparent, I would say, 0.8 opacity. If you want to add any other effect that you want, maybe like you want to scale it inside, like scale out, and only the active one should be like zoomed in a bit more, you could do that too. This is for mobile width. So for mobile, I have set it to width be 70 viewport width. So 70% of the viewport width. So whatever the viewport it is from left to right. So 70% of it for the mobile. So if I go in here and then maybe make it smaller, you would see that now it's 70% of whatever the screen size is. You can see it's same as using percentage, but instead of when you use percentage, it actually checks the size of it, of the parent container, and beats that percentage of that parent. So if this one was smaller, it would be 70% of this container. But when you use, let's say, VW, which is viewport width, no matter what size is the parent, it will be the size of the screen left to right. Okay. Then this is swiper slide active. This is basically opacity one, only for the active one. So if you add anything else like zoom in effect or fade in, or maybe if you want, you could even add like a filter blur to this one, so that it's everything that is outside would be blurry. And here you could just basically say that do not blur. Again, there isn't much more customization in this one, because the code is a bit for the curve, because the code doesn't really allow for much customization because of the curve nature. But I'll explain how to change the pagination to dots. So I've explained this in every single video, how to change the pagination to be these dots, and it's very simple. So let's just copy this code in here, and the first thing you do is you go to the pagination part, you remove the type like this. So the type fraction is removed, and here we will go into our custom base slider with autoplay. This would also be linked in description. You have to go to this custom base slider with autoplay, which would be linked in description. This is the first video that I ever made. If you go down in this code, you would find bullet class, this one. Let's copy these 3 parts and we'll copy it around here. Okay. What this basically does is that when you create bullets, we are saying that give the bullets this class DM base bullet. So each one of them would have the class DM base bullet, but only the active one would have DM base bullet active, like this one. And that way it allows us to customize it. So to customize it, you also need to go down in this same page and copy this for bullet pagination. Copy this. You can say we are basically just targeting DM base bullet, and then we are targeting the DM base bullet active in the DM base bullet CSS class. So when both of these CSS classes are there, it would use this. When only one of it is there, then it would use this. So this is for inactive, this is for active. Let's copy this, go to our styles at the bottom, paste it. Let's copy full of this, go in here and paste it, and let's do preview. And you could see this is how it looks. It works properly. To customize it, the gap and all, you could basically go to this container and play around with the gap value and all. Now to customize the styling of it, if you check the code, it's very basic. The DM base bullet, the width and height is given 8 pixels, but aspect ratio is 1, which means that no matter what the size, be a square. So if you don't want it to be a square, just remove this, and then you could just choose your own width and height. The background is set to black. The border radius is set to 100 so that it's a circle. You could obviously change whatever you want. The opacity is set to 0.2. So anything that is inactive would have 0.2. And in here, all I simply done is opacity 1. So only the active one would have full opacity. But if you want, you could also give background to be different, height to be different, scaling and all that stuff. So that's all in this video. You could actually go and get this template for free and consider getting Elementor Pro or Hostinger to support me, or just buying my template would also support me. And that's all for this video, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.